Hello, welcome to part 2 of this session, this practice. So I'm hesitant to say part 2 because for some of y'all, this may be part 1 depending on where you're jumping in. So anyways, welcome. I'm going to give you a quick overview. Now I'm going to tell you that this is a very challenging practice, all right? I was dripping sweat by the end of it, and it's a little bit faster moving, and I did that on purpose. So this part of the practice, this overview, is going to be very important that you really take this in and get up and practice it with me, all right? So we have a lot of things for the flow part with the hips forward and lunge. We're working a lot with the hamstrings here. So that means if you have tight hamstrings, you're going to want to find blocks or something solid to put on the ground underneath your hands at any time for anything. And so what that means is if you don't have blocks, find something sturdy. And what that means is it brings the earth up to you. So your arms don't have to be as long, and you can have more stability without having to worry about the balance. So there's a lot of balance work in this, a lot of balance work. And so we're talking about strengthening those auxiliary muscles along with the core muscles and the large muscle groups. Balance work is key, and staying lifted while you're in that balance work is key. So if you use the blocks or something to help you, then you don't have to worry so much about balance. You can get more into the body and into the movement of how that body is supposed to move, how it's supposed to feel, how you want it to feel. All right, so I highly recommend that you use those or something, a stack of books, something sturdy. I've even used big cans of tomatoes. All right, so check it out. We've got a quick warm-up that mimics the stuff that we're doing in the practice, but I'm gonna go right into it. We've got downward facing dog, all right? So downward facing dog is a beast on its own, but I don't want you to worry too much about the form. I literally could give a 6-hour workshop on downward facing dog. So don't worry about too much of the form with downward facing, but I will tell you this one thing. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears to give your neck as much space as possible so you're not tensing the neck and you're not shrugging and you don't end up with a neck creep, because ain't nobody want that. We ain't got time for that. So how it works, guys, a lot of core work. We're staying lifted. We have a lot of single leg downward facing dog. And in this, one thing I just want to let you know is I want you to, when you do this single leg, we have a tendency to drop into one arm or the other. Stay planted in both shoulders. Okay, point through the toe. And then we've got knee to elbow. You'll see it's a tap here. Boom, we're tapping it. And we're coming back into single leg downward facing. I'm going to go like this because this principle applies all throughout the practice. When you're in downward facing and you come forward in that knee tap, look, there's a difference between a knee tap that's here, see how tight in my knee is, and going back, versus here and going back. Now, when you bring that leg out farther to the side, it's more core work, it's more balance work. So that's the goal, is to get the leg out to the side and keep the knee in a 90-degree angle whenever you're swooping it out to the side during the flow part or during the nap part. So single leg downward facing, we come forward into low lunge. I want you to stop and think about this. We're not dumping into the hip in a low lunge. We're staying lifted. See the difference? It's that lift and load method. And then the opposite hand comes down. We're drawing the navel in nice and tight, and we rotate, all right? Then both hands come down. We start to transfer the weight forward. Again, the blocks can go underneath supporting hands at any time. Now this is go-go gadget front leg. Standing splits. Your standing splits can be here, 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 wherever you want. Mine are usually about here. Then we have, when you're doing your standing splits, blocks to help you with the balance, okay? Rooting down through the supporting leg, slight bend in the knee, plugging the femur into the hip. Try not to open up the hip like this. Squaring off so that you can work the IT band the proper way without dumping into it and then getting a crick in the ass the next day. Ain't nobody want that either. We don't want them in our neck and we don't want them in the butt. Okay, so we stay stay here, or connector squat, ankle to ankle, and lifting back up. Now another tricky part is bending the front knee, finding the lunge again, and then the single leg downward facing. Cool? So we're gonna go through it on the other side. We work our way into single leg downward facing. We go through slow once, then quickly 3 times. Knee to elbow. Single leg downward facing. Exhale, rotating lunge. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, knee out, ankle to ankle. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, single leg downward facing. Really lift the hips up to bring that leg through. Okay, mat work. Again, guys, this is where if you want more tutorials, I've got tutorials on all these major postures. And eventually I want to give you one-sheeters as a part of this program that have the modifications and everything like that on it. Because this program really is a study as well. It's not just a come on, let's get our workout done. I mean, it's an opportunity. You can treat it that way. It's totally fine. It's your practice. I mean, it's going to get you results. But you also have the opportunity to study and learn as well. Okay, so when we're on our mat, there's a lot of little things that I want you to pay attention to. The first one being, we're going to take the left arm down and the right knee comes in. We've seen this already, but look, the knee isn't closed right here. There's a big something when you keep that knee slightly open. And I'm leaning over to the side. I'm not staying rigid. Like, instead of coming here, I'm letting my body lean so I can touch it. And then I'm coming and I'm closing all the way. I'm putting weight on that leg. So if it's the right leg that just did our wide fire hydrant, it's the right leg. Also come up and put weight on. Because that little shift of weight means a lot. Then we've got the side extension. Again, I'm shifting into it. Keep the knee lifted, lifted, lifted. Body comes forward, and we come up, and we've got a little bit of an attitude. Now, at one point, you'll see me. I confused myself on this. That's okay. It's a live class, but this is what we're doing here. This is almost like a little push-up with this supporting arm out and in. And really, I mean, you're going far back enough to where you're catching yourself and your core is catching you. All right? So the last one is extended side angle and cross over into a nice little child's pose for a stretch. But the extended side angle, the baby extended side angle, again, is here, here. Keep the knee lifted, keep the knee lifted. We use the core to lift up and stretch. Use this leg to push back. Use this leg to stabilize. Lift, 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 lift. It's like a helicopter. And press back. Lift, 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 lift. Extended side angle. So let me tell you something real quick, guys. Oh, and the last ab work we have after all of that is planking. And you can do it on our knees, guys. So as we're on our elbows, as one leg comes up, that same arm lifts up. We bring it in, and we hold. Settle. Left arm up, lift. Hold. Settle. Can absolutely be on your knees. So here's the trick. When we're doing this, guys, this is timed. And it's timed for a reason. Because I want you to take your time. I told you 3 to 5 times. How are we on time here? Good. 3 to 5 times with really learning these sequences. And I'm not just saying that like, I mean, it's a learning curve for this. But there's a reason why we do that. And the reason is so that you can see yourself grow through this. It is such a cool feeling when you're like, oh, I got it, I felt it. That's there. Ah, and it's even cooler when you can do it if you're a little bit sore, because then you can really feel those muscles. So go through at your own pace. This time I did a little bit different. I didn't talk much in the video. So I want you to get your learning part in this 10-minute video, maybe 10 minutes, 30 seconds. So get your educational learning part. I'll make some major cues in the session, in the class that we're doing this week. But it really is just at one point, I just shut up so that you can have the opportunity to get into it. All right. And so give yourself some grace. This is kind of after the class for me because I like to do the class and then give the overview. And one of the things that I mentioned in the class was kind of the theme that it happened in one of our live classes, and the theme was trust, guidance, and patience. And we really need to come to a place where we trust that our body is working for us. Even if we're not understanding what it's doing, why it's doing it, it really wants the best for us. And sometimes we have to guide that and also trust that it will accept our guidance, but we have to be patient for that. We have to be patient for that trust and guidance to happen. We have to be patient for that connection of the mind and body to happen. And so just know, guys, whatever's going on with your body loves you. And it wants you to treat it well because it treats you well. It does everything in its power to treat you well. And maybe that's not our ideal sometimes, but it really works for us. So let's be a team and trust it. Give it the guidance that it needs so that you can walk forward and continue growing through all these different types of challenges that you might want to grow through in order to become the person that you want to be. And if you're like me, I don't even know who I want to be. I don't even know who I want to be. I just want to know that I'm going to keep growing, and I get to move my body doing it, and it grows my spirit and my mind. All right, you guys, have a wonderful practice. If you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Love ya. Bye-bye.